The Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has long been the most colourful character in European politics, but after surviving endless scrapes and scandals, he's finally heading for the exit. In the end, it's not his private life that's killed his leadership, it's the economy and the soaring cost of funding Italy's public debt. But Berlusconi's departure is unlikely to end the crisis hitting Europe's third largest economy, as Stephen Long reports.
He survived corruption claims and sex scandals with teenage models. His flamboyant lifestyle, his bunga bunga parties, were the stuff of tabloid fare and public titillation. His career, spanning more than 17 years in Italian politics, was built on a conflict of interest. A billionaire tycoon, a mogul controlling much of the media, yet running the country.
Silvio Berlusconi could be compared in an Australian context to, for instance, Kerry Packer, someone with a huge media empire, owning TV channels and newspaper, but at the same time having become a political figure.
And after surviving so many scandals, it's come as a shock to some that he appears to be gone.
So this comes as a complete surprise, and I think will come as a complete surprise to many Italians.
Robert Burton is National President of the 5 Italian Chambers of Commerce in Australia. He's just returned from Italy and was rubbing shoulders with Berlusconi at a conference less than a fortnight ago.
At that time, he was quite positive about the fact that he was there to stay and he was going to lead Italy through the current crisis. Gave no indication at all that he was under any remarkable pressure or that he was even considering changing his mind about keeping his position.
In the end, it was not philandering nor conflicts of interest that brought Silvio Berlusconi down.
Berlusconi lacks political credibility, and Italy is paying actually quite dearly for it right now. Essentially, the markets right now have been voting a non-confidence vote towards Berlusconi.
Before his demise, the cost of funding Italy's enormous public debt had soared to the highest level since the country joined the euro. You can get home loans in Australia with a lower interest rate than the Italian government is paying to finance the country's commitments. There was an immediate Berlusconi bounce on markets on the news he was resigning.
In the first minutes after the announcement, stocks in the United States rose, and we can expect a very positive reaction on the bond markets tomorrow, with Italian yield spreads certain to come down.
But the confidence may be short-lived.
I think there's a growing realization within Italy and the political parties that it is the worst crisis that Italy has ever faced since the beginning, the birth of the Italian Republic on the ashes of fascism in 1946.
Italy is still looming as too big to bail. Its potential default a catalyst for a collapse of the global financial system. And European finance ministers meeting in Brussels have failed to finalise details of a revamped bailout fund to deal with the debt crisis, or to convince countries such as China and Brazil to tip in money.
We have to increase the capacity of the emergency fund. That's very important, but it's not the only thing. Economic reforms and budget cuts in countries currently under attack of the financial markets are at least as important than more money in the emergency fund.
Berlusconi's resignation was conditional on a package of austerity measures and changes to economic regulation being approved by Parliament.
What we are expecting from Italy is that Italy will implement all the measures which have been announced in Silvio Berlusconi's letter to both the President of the Council and the President of the Commission.
I'm confident to some extent the country will rally behind a new government and push through a number of reforms, because everyone knows that Italy can't possibly afford to go bankrupt.
Italy's economy has been dogged by a decade of anemic growth, and in the short run at least, the austerity measures being imposed to appease the markets will make the problem worse.
The fact that Italy has not been able to grow over the past 10 years has been precisely because the euro to some extent has put a straitjacket on Italy. Italy hasn't really been able to devalue and therefore has lost competitiveness in not only within Europe but also in the international markets.
The euro was meant to act as a discipline, forcing Italy to lift productivity and lessen regulation to boost its competitiveness. But Italy is Italy.
Most people admit that things have tightened up, but most of them are still saying that on the whole they are making a living. The restaurants are full. Life just seems to go on. Italy is Italy.
La dolce vita, but for how long? For now, it's arrivederci to the man who, whatever the setting, had an eye for the ladies.
He certainly put an end to the type of revolving door politics in Italy, whereby governments, Italian governments, would only last for 9-10 months. On the other hand, though, his questionable political persona, the fact that he was mired in a number of scandals, bunga bunga parties and so on and so forth, of course, will make a number of observers cringe about his overall achievement.
Berlusconi è finito, but the same can't be said for the deep problems besetting Italy's economy.
Stephen Long showing us his Italian skills there.